emotional stuckness, emotional heaviness, burdened by heavy, stuck emotions, particularly of the past. In many ways, of course, because of the past. The spiritual journey, in many ways, for some, not always, but often, is actually a kind of veiled way of really wanting resolve for emotional stuckness and emotional heaviness. And so often, one of the great things that's one of the great impediments, if you like, to spiritual realization, or even what we might call just peace, the peace of being. The peace of being is hindered, obscured, compromised by emotional stuckness. And so I think what I'm saying here is that emotions have to be dealt with. They really have to be dealt with. There's no two ways around it. They have to be dealt with one way or another. When emotions are dealt with, in many ways, the feeling sense that we have, our feelings, as opposed to emotions, but our feelings flow naturally. We are feeling creatures, after all. But when feelings are weighed down by emotions, or when there's an emotional heaviness, because we've still got our feet somehow in the past, or the past is, it is being carried with us, because, it has never really been resolved. And I would say that that's just true for most people. It was certainly true for me. The past, we've said this before, both Amodama and myself. Past keeps knocking on the present's door. The past keeps knocking on our door. And it feels as though it's knocking, banging, demanding attention for no good reason. Because it somehow, wants to tyrannize us. But if you look at it logically, or holistically, or in whatever way like that, from a healing perspective, the past is knocking on the present's door, on our door, because it wants to come home, because it wants to heal, because it wants to be welcome, because it wants to be released from, prison. And on the journey, on the healing journey, on the spiritual journey, that's really, in many ways, part of the task, is to unburden ourselves from the past by letting it go, by letting it be, by recapitulating, by speaking truth, by getting the energetic poison out somehow. And that's a journey, of course. It doesn't happen in one fell swoop, and it doesn't happen by thought alone. It just doesn't. It happens because you are willing to pay attention to it. It happens because you've decided you need to do something about it. It may take therapy, it may take bodywork, it may take catharsis, it may take, any number of these kind of modalities, certainly not anti-modality, whatever works. And it's not possible to know what works because you have to be guided along the way. But it loosens up the chains. It really does loosen up the chains. And then my dog's barking at the trash cans. And then you're more free. You're not so frightened of the feelings that you have, or not so tyrannized by the voices of the past, that are just trying endlessly, going on and on and on. No, that comes to an end. It comes to an end because we've decided that it's time to make it come to an end. And that frees up so much energy, because this emotional stuckness, it takes work. It takes energy. It takes, it takes time. It takes, it steals such valuable grace. It steals such energy from us, that at some point it has to be released.